Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, confusion in Kogi State as APC governorship candidate Audu Abubakar dies. He is to be buried in his hometown tomorrow morning. Independent National Electoral Commission declares Kogi governorship elections as inconclusive, orders a rerun on a later date. President Muhammadu Buhari arrived Tehran for a gas exporting countries forum in Iran, and Brussels to stay on highest level of terror alert following Paris attacks. We'll begin tonight on a rather sad story coming from Kogi State that one of the leading candidates in the governorship elections, the APC's flag bearer, Chief Abubakar Audu, is dead. News of his death filtered in this evening after the election had been announced inconclusive by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. This is the first time in the history of the country that a leading governorship candidate will be announced dead just before the final verdict on the contest. Chief Abubakar Audu was leading in the results announced by INEC, scoring 240,867 votes, while Governor Wada of the PDP polled 199,514 votes. State government sources have confirmed reports of Mr. Abubakar's death. Audu will be buried tomorrow at his hometown in Offa local government area in Kogi State. No medical reason has been given as the cause of his death. The governor of the state, Idris Wada, will be leading state government officials for his burial. Well, let's bring you some of the latest moments of the APC governorship candidate during his campaign across the state. He seemed very passionate about teachers' welfare and promised that if elected and sworn in as governor, the teachers will be amongst the first beneficiaries from his government. He promised the teachers prompt payment of salaries and other allowances.
Teachers are sympathized with you. Some teachers 2 years, no salaries. By the special grace of God, when we come into power and our government is inaugurated on the 27th of January 2016, all the teachers' salary will be cleared. 20%, 10%, 40% will disappear. Can I do it? Can I do it? If you vote for Audu, hands up. Who constructed Ibana Road? Ibana Okpo Road. Okpo Igaikeje Road. Igaikeje Ogugu Road. Ogugu Ete Border. Who brought light? Who upgraded the chief? Obajo Talu. Ejo of Okpo. Ejo of Olababoro. I don't try you.
Prince Abubakar Audu of late memory now. He was indeed, of course, the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in the elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission has declared the results of the Kogi State governorship elections inconclusive. INEC's Chief Returning Officer, Professor Emmanuel Kucher, announced this at the Coalition Center in Lokoja, the state capital. According to the electoral body, the decision became necessary because the difference between the total votes scored by the two candidates of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, and the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, is less than the total number of cancelled votes. Well, now that the candidate of the APC has died, could it be that there is now a gap in the Kogi governorship race? What does the Constitution say in these circumstances? Looking forward, what are the legal options? Joining me now on the News at 10 is the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Paul Ananaba. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on the News at 10.
Thank you.
Now, one of the candidates for the elections has died. What does the Constitution say about this situation?
Well, the Constitution speaks about just one section, section 181. It talks about a situation where a candidate has been duly elected, and if the person dies, then the deputy governorship candidate will be sworn in as governor. Now, in this case, there's a lacuna, there's a different scenario not conceived of by the Constitution. And when you fall back to the Electoral Act, you have Section 36. Section 36 talks about when the nomination has been validly made and before the election, the polls take place, if the candidate dies, then there should be an extension for 14 days. And then the process of substitution comes in. Now you see, the Electoral Act talks about nomination before the polls. The Constitution talks about at the end of the polls and a candidate has been duly elected. Now, the Constitution and the Electoral Act, none of them speaks about when the election has taken place, the poll has taken place, and it's inconclusive, and the candidate dies. That's where we are. And so there's a lacuna. Now, in my view, I believe that INEC should quickly seek the intervention of the opinion of the Attorney General of the Federation. There should be a legal advice, proper advice coming in at this point, which may include seeking a judicial interpretation. But speaking for myself, I believe that INEC should move in the direction of asking the APC to substitute its candidate. That's my view. I'm not saying it's binding, but that's what I think. Looking through the laws, should be the way forward.
When you say substitution, what should the APC be doing now? Is it going to start afresh? Should the APC start afresh in this contest in terms of getting someone to replace Audu that has died?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that it is a lacuna. There's no clear-cut position. That's why the Attorney General should come in at this point.
No, I mean, what should APC do now?
What APC should do is to wait for the umpire, because the APC does not operate the elections. It's just a party. And if we agree, based on the Supreme Court decisions prior to this time, that it is the party that contests the election. The party fields candidates. Not much emphasis is on the candidate. Is much more on the party. Then the party can substitute its candidate. But the party cannot move on quickly because no law covers, that's why I say it's a lacuna. No law covers what has happened. But I think that the way forward is to seek formal opinion of the Attorney General, opinion of the court if possible, and then you cannot amend the law immediately now, that would be wrong. Then thereafter, our Electoral Act, in the amendment of the Electoral Act, this situation should be provided for.
What becomes of his running mate?
Well, when I say that there should be substitution, I'm looking at a situation where the running mate should be the candidate now, and then a subsequent a new running mate should come in, because looking at it, the running mate was part of the votes that were cast. Indeed, if the election had not been inconclusive, we wouldn't have had any issues, because the running mate will automatically step in as the candidate, as the governor, will be sworn in. But since it is inconclusive, he cannot step in automatically. And since the inconclusion of the election will lead to another election, that is why there is a challenge. And in that election, a new candidate has to emerge, and the party stay there. So that's why a substitution will be necessary.
In your thoughts, is the eligibility question dropping up here? His running mate, is he now eligible to become the running mate? I mean, to become the flag bearer for the APC?
Certainly he is. He is, because he is like, he's a running mate. He's the next person to call on. That's why he's a running mate. That's why, but for the word inconclusive, which has come into our lexicon. If it was an outright win now, then he will automatically become the governor. But the point I'm making, which is backed up by law, is that he cannot automatically step in as the governor. Some form of procedure will be required. And because the law does not clearly cover that aspect, that's why we will need the intervention of the Attorney General, possibly the intervention of the courts, not the legislature, because the legislature now cannot make law in the face of a challenge. But subsequently, an amendment of the Electoral Act should be carried out to provide for this situation and other situations that we can now begin to envisage. And that's the beauty of the democracy we're practicing.
Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Paul Ananaba, I want to thank you so much indeed for your time and your thoughts here on the News at 10.
Thank you so much.
In part 2, after the break, leading candidates in Bayelsa governorship elections continue their campaigns. Stay with us.